X-Men. Or Wakanda now, I guess, or whatever the fuck. Because, they didn't steal that from... or anything. J-Spot Jack Cheese, Cat Pack Comics, MCU, movie review, week 8. J-Spot Jack Cheese, MCU, Cat Pack. Good. It's Black Panther. I'm sure this. I'm not gonna have that perspective. The whole like looking back. Although I kind of do, because I have a different view of the movies in general. But the movie itself is fresh. So I don't know. This one might be a little long. Especially if I spend half of it doing a meandering introduction that is, self-explanatory. Black Panther. I liked it. I didn't love it. I was not as floored by it as most critics seem to be. And maybe that's because of that whole superhero movie fatigue thing. Maybe it's just I'd be a little bummed, but I wonder if just none of them are gonna be great to me anymore. We'll see with Infinity War, because I still have hopes for that. I'm still excited for it for sure. Anyways, I don't fully think it's that. Because I was thinking back and I realized I haven't really cared too much about any of the solo movies past the main Avenger guys, Thor, Captain America. I think this is their third one. I think the Ant-Man, Doctor Strange, and then this one. This is definitely the best. This is easily better than both of those movies. And they're all decent movies. I just don't love them in the way that I typically love, an Avengers movie or a Captain America movie or whatever when they come out. And I don't know if that's just me, if I'm just being closed-minded. I hope not. I guess I hope I hope there's more to it than that. Because I'm all for them bringing in new guys. I like those characters. It's just none of their individual movies seem super great. And I just thought of this earlier, that like how I like seeing them in other movies, and how much cooler it would have been if those guys didn't get solo movies, and instead of that they just pop up like Black Panther does in Civil War. Like, imagine if the first time you see Ant-Man is when he falls out of the back of that van in Civil War and joins the fight. And I don't remember exactly the conversation, so there might have to be a little bit more exposition in the way that, but they handle it very well with Black Panther in Civil War. He's a lot more integral to the overall plot of that movie than Ant-Man is. But hey, they did it with Spider-Man too. I mean, he pretty much was introduced. He was introduced to the MCU in that movie, and he just dropped in for the fight too. So boom, do that with Ant-Man. And then just have Doctor Strange be in his cameo spot in Thor Ragnarok. Like, he's already Doctor Strange. You don't need the setup. Who cares? Because I really like seeing them in those movies. I was like, oh, it's Benedict Cumberbatch. It's Doctor Strange. Oh, that's awesome. But I didn't love the movie, but I loved seeing him in that movie. And I didn't love Ant-Man, but I loved seeing Paul Rudd in Civil War. So, not saying that they shouldn't have done this, because again, this is the best one of those three non-main superhero Avengers solo movies. I really liked all the actors. I don't really think there was a weak point. Oh no, there was one. It wasn't the actress really. I don't know her name, but she was in the Black Museum episode of Black Mirror. She plays T'Challa's sister. And they reference the "What Are Those" vine. That was the one part of the movie that I just like. That was awful. I absolutely hated that. Other than that, I don't really think there was acting wise anything that I didn't really like. It felt dated, and it's a shitty fucking meme anyways. Don't include it. Yeah, Chadwick Boseman is great. He's from Civil War to this, he's up there. I say Iron Man's my number 1. I don't know if he'd be my number 2, but maybe number 3. T'Challa might be number 3 for me, for like superhero MCU guys. I really like the way he plays him. I like that he's just like, I'm a king. He's not like, I'm a superhero. I'm cocky. He's just kind of like he's himself. It doesn't feel like the character is. He feels like his own person. He feels like his own character while also being the Black Panther. And I also liked, Michael B. Jordan, as always, killed it in this movie. I'll give it that. It's I think that they I'm just gonna let it go. I think they did a really good job. You still going? The villain, the way that they did the villain, not only in like his portrayal, because like I said, they always get good character actors, they always have good performances, but this actually felt like a good villain. I didn't think that it fell into the typical Marvel trap of just bland, I'm a bad guy. A part that, like, when they showed him, and it was so cool because it was so out of it almost like took me aback a little bit, because you see him kill T'Challa, although of course he's not dead. You see him kill T'Challa, and then he becomes king, and it's like, oh, I'm gonna do all this evil shit, yeah. And then they do the ritual that you see them do to T'Challa earlier, where they bury him, and it's like, oh, he's becoming the king, oh, all this bad stuff is happening. And then it goes to that other side, whatever you want to call that, where he goes and talks to his father. He talks to his dead father. And that scene really, like, I thought was really cool to include, because it's just like, oh yeah, he's doing all this bad shit, and then you're like, oh fuck, he's like, you actually kind of get like a purpose out of him, and like the whole idea of like, he just wants to use it for bad purposes, but that he says that Wakanda shouldn't be so insular, and that's actually like a good point, like, and that T'Challa does realize at the end, he's like, I guess he's kind of right, just not in the way that he wanted to do it. And which, so that's why they end the movie the way they did. All the supporting characters are great. I loved, I think her name was Okoye? His main, like, bodyguard chick. I liked her a lot. Martin, Bilbo and Gollum back together. That was neat to see. I wish there was a little more Andy Serkis in it. I didn't know he was going to die so quickly. It was a little bit of a bummer. There was a lot of world building, and that was interesting, but it didn't feel like the world building was interesting to see for world building. It's cool to see them build up the city and like that culture and stuff, but it didn't make for a great movie. It didn't make for a great storytelling. It was just kind of like, it was almost like you're reading a history book about the history of Wakanda. So it was cool to see all that stuff, but not as like a movie. So I think that was kind of a big part, because I'm thinking back, I'm like, well, yeah, these are all cool elements. It's just, and I think because so much of it was that world building that just felt like you're reading a book, that maybe that's kind of what made it just like it made it a little less than as good as I was hoping it was going to be. Despite the characters themselves being interesting. There was too much devoted to like too little in story, I felt. Too much of it was, because it is a little long. I feel like it could have been a little shorter. You could have got to Michael B. Jordan usurping, or is it a usurp? Because it was technically like legal by their like ritual law. So I don't know if that's when he becomes king. What the fuck ever. They could have gotten to that a little quicker. I feel like there was scenes in the middle, like the whole getting. And again, it's not them. Like, I love having Andy Serkis back and getting Martin Freeman wrapped up it just felt like the whole operation of them going to Korea to get him and then capture him, and then he gets broken out, and then he dies, and then Michael B. Jordan just, like, walks into Wakanda with his dead body, like, just fucking, like, after you do that art heist, if you really need him there, okay, kill him then, and bring him in. I kind of feel like they were like, well, we kind of want, like, one more scene of Michael B. Jordan doing bad stuff before he comes in. We need one more scene of him being a bad guy. I did like I was a little surprised since it's the last one before Infinity War. I was a little surprised but I liked that the end credit scenes were not really related to the second one. The last one was a little, kinda, I guess so. But it was just more like, hey, here's another guy. It was just kind of like a little fun cameo, I felt like. That they weren't, I'm not even getting to the point, that they weren't tied into Infinity War. It wasn't like then to Thor Ragnarok, which is not, it's not like a negative necessarily. You just kind of expect it. So I was expecting like, ooh, here's Thanos stomping down on it. But it was like, nope, it's just, these are a couple little anecdotal or like continuations of this movie, of this world. And that was cool. That they kind of just did that. It was, cool to see him at the UN, and it was cool to see Bucky at the end. I'm not dogging those ones. I like that it was just its own thing. I think I'm glad that this was like a self-therapy session, because I was like I don't love the movie, but I don't know why. I think I was able to diagnose that it was just a lot of it felt too textbook. And a lot of it felt unnecessary, despite all the great characters. It was just the characters. The characters were great. I don't necessarily think the writing itself was great. It's just, I liked all the actors, and I liked all the characters. Black Panther is good. I was fluctuating a little bit. At first I was like, it's okay. And then I was like, hey, it's really good. I feel bad giving it just good, but I think good is good. Double plus good. I think I know where it's gonna go on the list, but I don't exactly remember the ordering, so I won't say, but like 3 or 4 maybe, something like that. Which, yeah, I'm okay with that. So yeah, not bad, but not great. I'd still definitely recommend it. I'd still say go see it. It's great to see them. Even though I don't love them, I like when they do these solo movies of new characters. Next week is Thor: The Dark World. Back to the old grind. Back to phase 2. What fuck am I doing? Nice. Good timing.